Last chance for the Steelers. Bradshaw trying to get away. And his pass is broken up by Tatum. Tipped off. Franco Harris has it. And he's over. What? Franco Harris grabbed the ball on a deflection. 5 seconds to go. He grabbed it with 5 seconds to go and scored.
Let's watch this again.
1 million to 1 odds on this one.
Ricochet out there off of Jack Tatum and into the Man of the Year, Franco Harris's hands.
Here's the miracle of all miracles.
From out of nowhere came Franco Harris, riding a white stallion, heading up Franco's Italian army, and galloping on.
The Hemp Wizard Signature Series artists are Walking Corpse Syndrome, So High, Black Sasquatch, Fester, You can give your beard the magic touch by going to hempwizard.net today and rock out with your. Just kidding.
Well, that's my cue to start the show. Welcome to another edition of the Hard Rocket Sports Show, live from high atop Hard Rocket Sports Studios. We are your 3-hour weekly get-together. We bring you all the biggest news around the world of hard rock, heavy metal, and, of course, the wide world of sports. And, guys, welcome to Thursday, the first Thursday of the new year, and we are so happy to have you back. I'm so happy I wore my Hulk Hogan shirt. See that? I got my Hulk Hogan shirt on there. Anyway, we're thrilled to be here on Thursday, January the 5th, in the year of our Lord 2023. I hope you guys had a great New Year's. I had an interesting New Year, great dinner with my parents, which is always a lot of fun. And then we went home, and this is the first year I can remember that I did not make it to midnight. That's right. I fell asleep about 11 o'clock. I woke up at 1:15, and it was all over. But I have to tell you, it was a shitty night to be home watching TV. There was nothing on. I was very disappointed in the New Year shows. I flipped between all of them: the liberals, the conservatives, the supposed Dick Clark. I watched every one of them. The one from Nashville was the best one of all of them. But we'll get into a little more of that when Jeff pops up. He's on there now. So we're gonna get the show kicked off. But listen, guys, another year of the Hard Rocket Sports Show is here. And we got a lot to talk about. And, of course, the big news story everywhere is Damar Hamlin and his near-death experience right on the football field. And we'll get Jeff and some others' take on it. So thanks for tuning in. We're glad to have you here with us. And we look forward to a couple hours. Who knows? I just walked in the door literally 15 minutes ago. So I don't know how long I'm going to go, but we'll go as long as I can get there until we run out of stuff to talk about. So anyway, that's the news of the day. We got a lot to get to. We'll get to it in a few seconds. In the meantime, remember our dear friends, even though the holidays are over, you could still go to our buddies from Hemp Wizard Beard Care Company and check out them on hempwizard.net for the complete line of beard and skincare products. These guys are winning things all over the place. They got a great review. And by the way, our Sunday Audible scent for beards got a really nice review on one of them. But Mike and Joe, congratulations. You guys are soon to fly, take off. And we're happy to be a part of your little family. Congratulations to you both. In the meantime, let's see. Somebody just messaged me. Are you kidding me? You know what I love, folks? When somebody doesn't pay their entrance fee to the league all year, and then let me just shut up. I'm better off just shutting up. Anyway, there's no other way to start the Hard Rock and Sports Show than by bringing on my buddy, my pal of 40 plus years, the sexiest man on his side of the screen, and by the way, the bass player for the Remorons, who I got to see last Friday night. I took a ride out to Staten Island really late, and I was exhausted, but it was well worth the trip to see my buddy on stage and do what he loves to do best, and that's play bass in front of everybody. So let's bring on my buddy Jeff Towinski, to Sauce, as he calls himself. What's up, Sauce?
What's up, man?
Jeff, let's start the show off. Jeff, how was your week, and how was your New Year's?
Well, I hate New Year's. It's no big deal to me, and I hate work, so the week sucked. Until I stop working, every week will suck. Okay. That's about the best way to put it.
All right. I can't argue it. I literally walked in the door about 20 to 7. Oh. So I am tired. I wolfed down a little something because that's all I eat right now is a little something. And I threw some stuff together, and I am on the air with you, and we'll do what we can. And I'm going to run out of gas. But it is like I said, Jeff, I don't know if you heard my intro, but my New Year's was so. I did it with my parents, which was great. We had a good time. We had food was really good. Went to a local place, and I was home before 6, and we just watched some TV, and it was nothing on TV, and all the New Year's shows. I don't know if you're a big watcher of the Dick Clarks and all that, but they all sucked. The guests were terrible. I mean, I guess it's not my music, so it makes it even worse. The only one I really enjoyed was the Nashville one. They had one from Nashville. I think CBS did it from Nashville, and it wasn't half bad. They had some decent music. So I
don't bother to watch those. Like I said, New Year's to me is just another day. I'm not out there getting drunk all the time, but it's total amateur night. It's the people that get drunk once a year, as far as I'm concerned, and I don't want to be part of it. You know what I mean?
Yep. No, I got you. No, listen, I'm not a huge fan of going out. I prefer to do just what I did, which was go out to a nice dinner, enjoy some time with my parents, and then come home and just relax. I don't want to go to bars. I don't want to go to clubs. I don't want to go to shows. I don't want to go anywhere. And then New Year, it was great having the weekend off. I had Monday, so Sunday watched a lot. I watched a ton of football. Took down all my outside decorations, and between Sunday and Monday, and then Monday just relaxed. So it was a great weekend. Even though New Year's Eve, I fell asleep at 11 o'clock. Did you make it to midnight?
Me? Yeah. I was out. We went to our friend's house, Lisa and John.
Okay.
They live like 10 minutes away. So we went there, and 12 o'clock came. Hello, Carrie. How are you? I was out. I went home. I had to get up. I had to be to work at 6 o'clock the next day. So.
Right.
I wanted to get out of hand. I couldn't. And the night before, we were out late.
Right. Yeah, I got to see the show. By the way, I'll say it in front of everybody, I thought you guys did a great job. I only, unfortunately, got to stay. And hi, Carrie. I only got to stay. I made it till 11:50. Me too. I only got to stay until about midnight. I was hoping you guys would have went on time. I could have saw the whole set.
Yeah,
but I got to see about 6 or 7 songs, and you guys were great. I mean, the sound was great. You guys were tight. The whole bit.
Yeah, you liked it?
Yeah, very much. Again, I'm not the biggest Ramones fan in the world, but I liked all the songs. I knew them all. And you guys didn't dawdle. It was which was nice. Was I don't know if you guys planned it that way, but you kept Collins from detouring between songs
as best we could.
Right. Yeah. Nobody's that good, but just to silence it. But I caught the end of the Johnny Collins band, and they, as always, they're the ultimate party band. And
35 minutes.
Hey, Tommy Gunn, how are you, buddy? And it was nice.
A 35-minute set of that band is 2 hours.
Oh my God. That guy will stay up there and sing any song, whether he knows the words or not. He will just go out there and do his thing.
Yeah, but you know what? He by the time he got done with the Ramones band, man, that was it. He was done.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
he's probably
God.
singing for forever. So, but you guys did a nice job. And it was, I didn't eat or anything in Juicy Lucy's. It was a little bit late for me, but it was nice to run to Paul. I got to see your wife, Jimmy's sister. Again, it was a little hard to hear. And I have to say one thing. It was a very strange crowd. There were some very strange looking people at the show.
Yes,
I don't know.
everybody has said that.
Yeah, it was. I'm telling you, there were a lot of the hipster doofuses. What's up, Paul D'Agostino? You had some hipster doofuses. You had some people painted doing, I guess they were moshing or doing some sort of artistic dancing. Then you had the old crowd like us and everything in between.
I don't know. All I know is that from my vantage point,
Uh-huh.
there wasn't a person in there that really wasn't getting into that, man.
I watched the crowd. People were singing along. It was very cool. I thought it was hey, Peter Cat. Hey, thanks. We appreciate it. And we love Playhouse. Thank you, Peter. We appreciate that. And thanks everybody. Yes, Mr. Finelli. I hung a towel. Let me see if I can show it to you. I hung a towel in front of the light to our lighting director, Robert Finelli, was giving me grief that he can't see me during the show because of the light. So I hung a towel up there to mask the light a little bit, so that way I could show up my Hulk Hogan T-shirt that I got a couple years ago when I went to Hulk Hogan.
You should have done was hung something else up there.
What would you like me to have hung up there?
Well, not me. It's what the people would want.
What would the people want?
The Perry underwears, man.
I'll remember that for the next time. I'll get one. The ones with the ones with the sack hole. With the ones with the sack.
Yeah. Put the light bulb in the sack.
There you go. So, listen, guys, what'd you guys do for New Year's? Let us know. There's a lot to talk about. A lot of football to talk about. Obviously, right now, it's obviously we're getting close to playoff time, and of course, with the Damar Hamlin thing, I got a lot of theory. I got a lot of thoughts on this. Some of it you might like, some of it you might not. Yeah, I want to get into it, but I want to get my dad on first. And then we'll go.
Right after your dad, I have a big announcement.
Oh, great. Okay. Yes, thank you, Adam. Yes, we did. I thank you for noticing we fixed the light. I love having everybody here. Thanks for it. Let us know what you did for New Year's. Let us know what you're doing this year. I got a lot of bands out here. Let me know what you guys are doing out there. Tommy Gunn and Paul Festa. Let us know what you guys are up to. We'll promote it for you. And we appreciate you guys coming back and listening to us. So the least we could do. And guys, if you ain't seen my man Paul's band, Catamara, you ain't seen a great band out in the New Jersey area. So get out and make sure you see these guys. But let's get my dad on and we'll do a little more promoting. And let's see. Hold on. What's up, Pop?
Hey guys, Jeff. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Everybody watching had the same. Yeah, it's just really not much. I was watching the news today about the Jets.
Huh?
They still don't know who's going to be their quarterback. And I think Wilson, they ruined this kid. And I'll say it to ever, you cannot take a kid out of college and put him in there and start him off with a bad team. And that's what they got, a bad team.
Well, I agree and I disagree. I think the problem was the Jets nobody had this kid up that high. Nobody, not even the Jets. And then the Jets went to a pro day, saw him make a couple of throws in shorts and t-shirts, and fell in love with the kid without question. The problem is they didn't account for one, his aptitude or football IQ is not great, and that's the one thing you hear and you see. I don't think Mike White's a better quarterback than him. I just think Mike White is a smarter, a little more established, Jeff, is what I would say right now. But right now, who's their quarterback right now? I mean, Mike White's hurting for the last game of the season. I don't know if he's going to play. Zach Wilson's not going to play. And everybody's praying that Joe Flacco don't play. So I don't know what they're going to do right now.
It's the last game. Who cares who they play? You know what I mean? At this point in time, they should go out, try to have a little fun, try to let these guys make their mark. They're definitely an improved team from last year. Nothing could be taken away from them, what they accomplished this year.
Yeah, I would agree.
With the quarterback carousel that they had going on. And listen, not for nothing, if they split the games with New England right now, as it stands, they'd be in the running for a playoff spot. If they lost, if they won one of those games, if they won one other game, they'd be in the playoffs.
I agree, but I disagree with you about this weekend. One, you're playing the Dolphins. You'd want to go beat them so they don't have any chance of making the playoffs. So to me, if you're the Jets, you want to go out there too. A lot of these guys, including especially Mike White, he's putting some stuff on film. Jeff, he was horrendous last Sunday. I don't know if you got to watch the game at all, but I watched the Jet game, and he couldn't have been worse. The Jets couldn't have been worse. And I got to tell you, we'll get more into this, but your coach did not come out of this season smelling good. And I would tell you that
come on, dude. The guy took a team that was 4-13, 4-18.
Jeff, they quit on him. Not only just the Jacksonville game, this game. I mean, you went out to Seattle. You let Geno Smith go up and down the field on you. You got knocked out of the playoffs by Seattle, whose defense is horrendous. And here's the best part, the worst part, I should say. You didn't even put an effort in. They looked like they didn't want to be out there. The defense, the offense, nobody. That, to me, is a reflection of the coach. But, Dad, go ahead. Finish your point, Dad. I'm sorry.
I know. It's just, to me, they handled a rookie quarterback who was decent, not a great quarterback, but a decent quarterback. They put him out there with the pros, and the pros ate him up for breakfast. They spit him out. Now you got the last game. They don't want to they're not going to put him in. And the reason they're not going to put him in my opinion, they're looking to dump him.
Oh, definitely. Absolutely. 100%. He's never playing for them. I don't care what Saleh says. No,
but they're going to get rid of him, Tommy.
They have to.
They know if they keep him in for this game and he looks even worse, he's not going to get nothing. They're looking for maybe a third-round pick.
Yeah, no, he's not going to see the field this week. He's never going to play this week.
I feel bad for the kid. I mean, he reminds me a lot of Eli Manning, who I thought, and even Phil Simms, didn't think they were great quarterbacks. But they had decent teams around him. You take a kid coming out of college and put him in with the pros, I'm sorry. You got a 350-pound guy running faster than you are.
Yeah, but that's fine. But then you get guys like Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. They're all in their second year, third years, and they flourished the whole way through. So
I just think they grabbed the wrong guy.
They grabbed the wrong guy.
They got a better team around them.
Yeah, but you know the Jets weren't terrible. I mean, they got a good.
Make this easy for everybody. Zach Wilson sucks.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Excuses. Doesn't matter if he's in his first year, his 10th year. The guy can't play. Okay, he doesn't look like an NFL. He doesn't have the build of a quarterback. He looks like he's a high school quarterback, and he's too small. I just don't like him. I wasn't a fan of him from day one, and the guy just sucks. That's all there is to it.
Where do you get a quarterback now? What do you do now? You're going to draft another quarterback? What are you going to do?
I'm not one for holding on to these people and we drafted him in the second round or second pick, so we got to hold on to him. No, the guy can't play. Get rid of him.
I agree with you.
You cut.
So what do you get?
Get going.
No, but I think my dad's hitting on a point. I think if you're the Jets, and again, guys, we're talking a little bit of local football right here. We'll get to some plus more later. And Adam, thanks for multitasking. We appreciate that. Thank you. And then again, guys, Canamara, you guys, Stone Pony in Jersey on February 4th, Planet Trog on February 25th, and then opening up for the band Cold at the Gin Mill on March 25th. I'm telling you, I've seen the guys live. I've heard their music. And with the new singer, I'm telling you guys, Canamara, check them out on the web. Great stuff. Great stuff. One of the most underrated local bands that I've gotten to see, and I'm a huge fan of the guys, but I'm a huge fan of the band. Jeff, I think if you're the Jets, you can't afford to go with a rookie. The problem is, I think now they're gonna have to use some of that money that's sitting around doing nothing probably, and you're gonna have to bring a veteran in. And who the veteran is
veterans that are going to be loose. You got Jimmy Garoppolo. You got Carr from the Raiders. There may be a few more that get shaken loose. You don't know, and you just got to wait and see who's available and what's going on. The Jets are going to be an attractive team to come to this year because they got defense.
I would agree with that, but the problem is they're not attractive. If you're a quarterback, are the Jets ready? Super Bowl playoff? Like if you're bringing in a Derek Carr. he's not going to want to hear that your offensive line's not set. He's not going to want to come in and, what are you doing at running back? I mean, running back took a nosedive after Breece Hall went down, and, he's obviously not going to be ready for the beginning of the season coming off an ACL. So
he'll be ready for the beginning of the season because he got hurt, in week 5 or 6? He'll be ready.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's a year plus normally. But, okay, let's say he's ready pretty early in the season. I don't think the Jets are as attractive as you think they might be. But again, are you willing to throw a ton of money at somebody? Yeah.
You got a top 5 defense. You got has pieces in place. Why would you not want to go there? They're more attractive than some of the teams that are actually in the playoffs right now. And I don't care what anybody says.
Well, again, I've watched the Jet defense last week against the Lions. They got lit up, and when they needed big stops, they looked terrible against Seattle.
There's not a team in the NFL that doesn't lose once in a while, that doesn't get beat. Everybody has a bad game.
I for the longest time, I had them as a top 5 defense myself. I don't put them that way. I still think they're in the top 10, and they'll probably get better. They'll reinforce some of the weak spots. They could probably use another corner. They could probably use a little help at linebacker, especially on the inside. I like Mosley. Don't get me wrong. I like some of these guys, but they can use some help out there. And Sauce will get better. I think they're a good defense. They may get better next year. But if I'm a Jet fan, I would be a little down on the way this season ended, losing 5 straight, going to be 6, having chances to win games, to clinch playoff spots. And I think the coach has done a really bad job keeping this team together. You cannot, again, I agree Zach Wilson shouldn't play, but you can't let the team decide that he's not playing. You can't let the team, disappear and not show up for games like Seattle this week, which was a horrendous showing.
The coach can't come out and say the guy that we picked second last year in the draft is a bust in his second year. He can't say that. If he says that, he might as well just resign in the middle of the game.
Not for nothing, Jeff, but the offensive coach did get on TV today and say that they made a mistake by starting him.
I know. I saw it.
Right.
And that's why next year he ain't going to be with the team. He'll be
if he doesn't play Sunday, this kid doesn't play at all Sunday, he's gone.
He's not even dressing.
It's a healthy scratch.
It'll be maybe, again, they'll have to make a decision whether they're going to start White or have him as a backup to Flacco, or if they're going to go Flacco and Strevler. I don't know.
Yeah, the other kid is not starting.
All right, I'm going to let you guys go because I know Jeff's got
a big announcement.
Call. So listen, enjoy yourself. Tommy, I'll talk to you over the weekend.
I will see you over the weekend. Hey, yeah, I got to talk to you about
Jeff, take care. Talk to you later.
All right, Pops.
Take care.
For you.
So that's my daddy checks in every week, and I see a lot of people saying hello today. Johnny Collins, I saw, was lurking out there. And, of course, now Mike Weissman, our buddy from Hemp Wizard, he just popped up. So we're glad to have everybody tuning in. How was everybody's holiday? I hope it was great, and I hope your start to your new year is really well. We're going to get into a little bit of football now. We're going to talk about Damar Hamlin and that whole situation. And, Jeff, let's put the Jets aside and get to the Damar Hamlin thing, because I think that's the biggest news topic.
Let's put Damar Hamlin aside.
Oh.
And put everything aside.
Oh,
right now.
Good.
It's something much more important
than
anything else that's going on. Okay?
Okay.
The dead list must be amended.
Oof. I'm sorry. Yes, folks. Go ahead, Jeff. Please explain to people what the dead list is.
Well, the dead list is the list of dead celebrities. That's exactly what it is. I'm not going to read it over again. If you missed it, you missed it.
No.
You're going to have to wait another year. But we got a little added bonus for you. Leftovers that tried to sneak in under the wire, but we saw you. I seen you jumping the fence. All right? So I want to announce that Mark Walters is signed off for the last time at 93 years old.
Which I didn't realize she was that old.
I didn't realize she was still alive.
I read that she hadn't left her house in 6 years.
Well, at 93 years old,
I'm just saying that I did not know any of that. Like, I completely just had her pictured.
Talk about her. So what can I tell you? She wasn't on news anymore, so nobody cares.
Yeah.
And then Anita Pointer from the Pointer Sisters.
Oh, okay.
The third and final Pointer sister fucking cut out on New Year's Eve day.
Wow. Really? Yeah.
Talk about slipping under the wire, man. Another couple hours, you could have said Happy New Year and split, but you took it and ran. Well, last Pointer sister, no reunion for the Pointer Sisters this year. There's none left.
No, well, there'll be a reunion, but it won't be here.
Well, it won't be here. And I'm telling you right now, there might not be a call for it wherever they are. All right. So that being said, we had to get that amended. All right. And make sure that we are up to date.
Wow.
And we've already had a couple of deaths this year, but if you want to know who it was, you're going to have to come back.
That's it.
Next year.
That's it. Oh, listen, I applaud you, Jeff, for staying on top of it. We did talk about that at your show, that we wanted to get Barbara Walters on, and I mentioned.
And fucking tried to slip under the fence, man.
That's it. And listen, every year on our last show of the year, Jeff does what we call the dead list, and announces all the people and all the prominent people, whether it's sports or music or entertainment, world of politics, people who are kind of just famous for something. Jeff kind of puts a list together. Oh, look at this! Did you mention Fred White died from the?
No, because when did he die?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
He died during 2022. We would have found him.
It's very possible.
I'm assuming that he died within the last couple of days.
Yes, that's what we call it, Paul. We call it the dead list.
It's certainly not going to be called the fucking "I'm still here" list. That's for damn sure.
That's right.
And we're making a comeback this year list. That's not happening.
Yep. So it's been named that for quite a few years, and unfortunately,
Carrie, you are banned from announcing any deaths on this show because you're hyping up the thought of it and you're getting the crowd excited.
Yep.
It's not right, man.
And truthfully, Jeff, she was trying to throw you under the bus like you missed somebody. Carrie, I'm just saying.
I'm not digging that. Come back in December with this shit, man.
Carrie, we're always looking for people to join the show and help out with research. Jeff could always use some help that way. So if you want to get involved and track some of the names, Jeff, I'm sure would be more than happy next December to talk to you about it. 3
days ago, but that was into the new year.
Yeah, he'll be on this year's list, unfortunately, for Fred White.
I'm telling you right now, I'm keeping a close eye on this Damar Hamlin situation because you just don't know.
Well, it sounds like Damar Hamlin's doing better. Let's talk about Damar Hamlin a little bit, Jeff. Is that the end of your big announcements?
I think so.
All right. Well, I applaud your vigor for doing your job properly. You have made sure that every single person who needed to be announced was announced.
All right, so now
you're like the Grim Reaper. Next, you have to do it with the sickle, with the hood.
Yeah, I think I'd like to appoint Carrie that, being that she's already pegging people out for the year. I don't know if you have an up and coming list we could expect to go.
As long as we're not on the list, that's all we care about.
Yeah, well, listen, there ain't much we're gonna do about it.
Yeah, that's true.
If we are, but this Damar Hamlin, whatever. Did you actually see the hit in real time?
Not in real time. I wasn't watching the game that night. For some reason I was getting ready to go to work the next day, obviously. Yeah. And I watched the Rose Bowl game, and then I just got tired. I said, I'll catch the highlights tomorrow. And then I got texts from people all night saying, did you see it? And I didn't see it till the next day. I did see it on replay.
I did not know what happened to it.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, well, what happened? They're like, because now their new thing is when guys get injured, they won't show the injury.
Right.
Not like the good old days where Tim Krumrie's leg was flapping out like a flag in the breeze. Or Joe Theismann, they got to get every angle in. They won't show certain things.
I agree.
Mass exodus. they won't show certain things. So if I figured that there was a horrific injury and they just didn't show it. And then I saw Josh Allen's face, and I was like, that's not good, because he looked like he was going to cry on the field. And then they started showing people's faces from the Bengals, and they were like, oh, there's been no change in the situation. We're going to come back in a few minutes. We're going to go back to another commercial. They came back from a commercial, announced that, and then went right back into another commercial. So I was like, somebody's got to be paralyzed or something. And then I ended up watching it, and then they said what happened. And then I looked up the hit, and I'm like, that hit is what took him out. We've all seen worse hits than that.
Oh, yeah.
In the NFL. And it turns out when they described it, they hit him at the right millisecond.
Yeah.
And that was it. It was enough to stop his heart. And when you look at that don't look like anything but a routine play.
Mm-hmm. No, I couldn't agree with you more. And a play that we've seen 100 times, and now that's where it gets scary when you're watching it. That time he gets up and then it sits back down or passes out. And listen, of course, we root for the kid to get better, and it seems by all things that he is getting better.
Yeah.
And, so that's the good news. But he's still a ways from getting back to full health, I guess. And but I've heard all this about the football's a rough game, and guys, again, I've played at a very, 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 very low levels. I think guys who played at my level in high school, in college, in some of the other leagues, that's hits that happens every day. I don't think you can guard. There was nothing about that hit that wakes me up and goes, this game's too violent. I just think, like you said, it was the right hit at the exact moment in time that put him in that position.
First of all, it wasn't a violent hit.
No, not at all.
It was anything but a violent hit. It was not a violent hit. Okay, that must be acknowledged. It has to be acknowledged. It was not a violent hit. What it was the perfect hit.
Okay, I agree with that.
Where I watched something, it was a YouTube video or something, and what they described was the heartbeat. Okay, so what happens is the heartbeat is it goes down or up, whatever the case is, it goes up. Okay, the heartbeat is goes boom, boom. It goes up, and then it comes back down, and then as it gets ready to go back up again, it comes up on a curve. But as it comes up on a curve, there was one spot where if it was hit right here, it would cause the problem that Hamlin ended up having.
Right.
So that's exactly where contact was made right now. Okay. It wasn't the full crest. It was like 3/4 of the way up. And that's the spot. Just boom. And when that happened, that's when he ended up having this problem. So the same thing happened to Chris Pronger, defenseman for the St. Louis Blues years ago in the playoffs. I think it was 93, 94, whatever it was. He got hit in the chest with a slap shot.
Right.
And he went down, but his heart didn't stop. Knocked the wind out of it. It messed up his heartbeat and everything else. Hamlin, completely different story, man. They had to do CPR on him.
Yeah.
For 9 minutes.
I think they shocked him right on the field to get him back.
I don't know.
I believe he shocked him on the field, and then as soon as they got into the hospital, he coded again and had to shock him again. So
I know that he had a second incident when he went into the hospital.
Yes.
What they did, I'm not sure.
Well,
but scary stuff.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and I want to get to what Carrie just said, and I don't disagree that the game should have been postponed at that moment. I don't think that anybody there wanted to play, and I understand that. But all this talk about should they play the game anymore? I've heard people talking about canceling the season. I got to be honest with you, Jeff, and here's my take on it. You can tell me
Backwater. Cancel the season.
Yeah, I've more than a few people have come out and said you got to cancel the season.
Celebrities or friends?
Celebrities. I've seen talk show, sports talk people. And some of the players have come out and I think Bart Scott was one of them, if I'm not mistaken, who came out and said you can't play this. What's up, Louis Pica? And here's my take on this, Jeff. I feel terrible, and I'm happy he's alive. But regardless, let's put it this way: if tomorrow a police officer in any town gets shot and killed, not knocked out in the hospital, shot and killed, do all police officers stay home for a while? If a firefighter falls through a roof and dies, do we shut down the fire department for a month? I'm sorry, it's a game, and I certainly am happy the kid's going to live. That all reports that he'll probably get back to some sort of full health, whether he ever plays football or not. Again, I would tend to doubt it, but I'm sorry. To me, this game should have been played the next day. I understand not playing the game that night, but they should have hung around and played on Tuesday. You go out and play football. That's your job. And if you're not going to ask a cop or a fireman or an EMT or a doctor or a nurse to stay home for a while after somebody they took care of passes away or a colleague passes away or dies traumatically? Dude, I'm sorry. Get your asses back out there, be a man, and play the game. I'm sorry.
Well, listen, in the grand scheme of things, the game of football is just that, a game.
I got you.
Life. I don't know what the right answer is as far as do you play that game or whatever. One thing I do know is that they need to figure out the right way what they're going to do with the implications of not playing that game. Okay?
Well, that's a big point. I think what they're hoping for is everything falls into place this week.
Well, of course,
yeah. And it's not necessary. And guys, let me know if you think I'm off base here. But to me, while I'm I completely understand, the tragedy this was, you get up and play. You got to go out and do your job the next day. I'm sorry. I just don't get. I don't understand that. If we're not going to ask a police officer or a fireman, if we're not telling them they can all stay home for a while and deal with it, then those guys expect to go to work the next day. And I expect these football players to go out and play football.
I don't think you could compare the game of football to the.
But what I'm saying is, if those people who are up here can go to do what they have to do every day, watching colleagues take a bullet, fall through a roof, whatever. Don't tell me that these guys can't suck it up and go out there and play football a couple days later. I'm sorry. I'm all for. I'm not trying to diminish, but canceling the season or giving me, well, I don't know if we could play anymore. Then don't play the game. We all know that at any minute you could take a blow to the head and get killed. I'm sorry. Go play the game. But I understand what the NFL's trying to do. I just think it was wrong. I think you should have played the game the next day.
While I agree with you about certain things and what you just said,
yep.
The one thing that I do not agree with is that particular game. I don't think that they should have forced those guys to play that game the next day, whatever it is. I think that what they should do is, if anything, the week, the bye week, if need be, play the game. I understand.
Call it a tie. Then deem it a tie. If neither team wants to play that game, and I get it, that's fine. Deem it a tie, and then that goes in your record. And fair enough. But to me, you screwed up the whole season.
They have enough tiebreakers in place.
Right.
They could use every tiebreaker, because when a team that is 8-8 is playing their last game of the season, and there's 73 different tiebreakers that they have over one team that it could win and get in, and then it would have to be like, well, these 4 teams have to lose, this one has to tie, this one has to do this one has to score 3 safeties. There's a way for them to figure it out without playing the game.
I'm all for it. That's fine. But what I don't want to have happen is they're talking. I've heard talking again. There's been a million rumors, but there's been a ton of them where they said, okay, so the week after the last game, which is this Sunday, the NFC will play their games, but the AFC games will be pushed out an extra week, and we'll play that game on that week on that weekend as a standalone game on a Saturday. I've heard that one. And then all all playoffs get now. The AFC team, the number 1 seed, would have 3 weeks off after that. I don't agree with that. If you can't play it in the right spot, then deem it a tie.
Who's the number 1 seed in the AFC right now?
Right now, hold on, I'll tell you right now. I think it's Kansas City. Yeah, Kansas City's the number 1 seed right now.
And aren't they like 12-3 or?
They're 13-3. Buffalo's 12-3. The Bengals are 11-4. So theoretically, if the Bengals were to win this game, they'd be 12-4. The Bills would be 12-4, so they'd be ahead of the Bills. And if the Chiefs were to lose their last game and the Bengals win their last game, the Bengals could actually be the number 1 seed.
Well,
so
I don't think, one, for sure, the season does not need to be canceled. That I think everybody could agree with, except for the lunatics that are actually calling for the season to be canceled. That just makes no sense to me to have them say that. That's just retarded.
It is. And again, I understand, Carrie. I understand not playing the game that night. I get it. Let everybody go home. Kid get to the hospital. He's in good hands. Go out and do your job like we would ask anybody else to do. Go out and do your job. Now, if the kid had passed away on the field, all right, maybe I'll feel different. You'll respect the fact that God forbid something happened to him and they had to go to his funeral. I think it turns it differently. But if that kid was alive, and he certainly is, you got to go play the game. I'm sorry. It's the same way we'd ask anybody else. To me, I know it's only a game, Jeff, that if it doesn't mean anything, put it as a 0-0. The Bills are 12-3-1, the Bengals 11-4-1, and let the chips fall where they may. That's to me is the right way.
And the one thing that nobody said, and Carrie, you brought up about Chuck Hughes from the Detroit Lions.
Yep.
I mean, you've been saying things. Everybody has an opinion. When Mike Utley, Dennis Byrd, Daryl Stingley, I believe his name was, all were paralyzed on the field of play during a game.
Yes.
Okay. They continued to play the game.
Yeah.
Okay. So now this kid, yes, he had a heart attack or a cardiac arrest or whatever they're calling it. All right. The proper terminology, or whatever they're saying, it is what it is. But, in today's day and age, the way things are, it doesn't surprise me that even the NFL can't make up their minds of what they're going to do here. Because now I think it's to the point where somebody's sitting in an office, what do we do? Do we let them play? Do we not let them play? How are we going to go move forward? If we tell them to play, we look fucked up. If we don't play, we look fucked up. What happens? And I don't think the players want to play that game, to be honest with you. I just don't think they do.
I agree with you, but so that's the case. Then you take the zeros, and Kansas City wins the division and wins the conference. And
how about this? Okay, there are teams where you play the game. What they should have done was move each one of their games up to Saturday this weekend. Let the Bengals, whoever they're playing, and the Bills, whoever they're playing, play on Saturday. Okay. So now you get an extra day rest right there. Okay. Then what they should do is let them finish that game on Thursday, a week from today.
Okay.
All right. Let them play Thursday and then see where everything sits from there. Because then if maybe what you have to do is that play the next game for them on Thursday or something. Because sooner or later it's going to catch up to itself. If they move the games a couple different ways, make it a Friday night playoff game. Or a Monday night playoff game.
Jeff, I'm with you. I think there's a lot of things you could do. I just think I don't know how you can go into this weekend's games and still have to figure out if you're going to play that game or not. I think what Louis said, you got to decide this week's games are going to decide the season, and if all three teams win, we're going to go by win percentages. And I guess the Chiefs would win. They have the best winning percentage of anybody in that case. So,
if all three teams won, that there's not going to be much of a difference of where they are. They're all going to be separated by a game.
Correct.
Kansas City would be 2 games ahead of Cincinnati, 1 game ahead of Buffalo.
Correct, but the problem would be let's say the Chiefs win.
Cincinnati.
If the Chiefs win, they're 14-3. If the Bills won their final 2 games, they'd be 14-3, and they beat the Chiefs. So that's why this game is this missed game is going to be important.
And also, Buffalo's in second place, Cincinnati's in third place.
Correct.
There's different ramifications.
Oh no, I listen. I agree totally. You could easily say the Bengals have no real right to this, being that they're a full game back. But again,
they have no right. They have no right to the first place, or first place overall. But would it change their seeding and make them the second seed? And what does that do for them? Now if they end up playing Buffalo in the playoffs, they get a home game.
But you also I mean, again, I think that's the big thing right now. I mean, I'm saying is if you at this point for me, I don't want them to make the game up. Give it a zeros. Don't count it. Whatever you want to do. I kind of like what Louis said, which is what I know they're talking about. Just take it based on winning percentage. And the Chiefs would, at that point, even though the Chiefs lost to both the Bengals and the Bills, they would get the number 1 seed in the conference and then move on. Call it a day. That's the way I feel. I just feel like, if you're I don't want to get to a scenario where after this we're playing games on a Wednesday night or a Saturday night. and everybody, I don't want a crazy schedule. If you're not going to play it, which you haven't done and you're not going to do, then the season ends with Sunday, and the best winning percentage gets top billing. That's it.
Listen, if all three of those teams win, there's just too much that can happen. So they need to figure it out. Whether a tie is the way to go, I don't know. Whether who was the home team? Buffalo couldn't play anymore. That they were down a player.
Mhm.
Whatever, they have to forfeit the game. You know what I mean? I don't know. Is that the way to go?
Again,
One thing that we could all agree upon is that game should not have been finished that night.
Oh, I agree. I couldn't agree with you more on that one. Nobody wanted to see that game played at that point.
Back in the 90s,
Mhm.
like I said, Mike Utley and Dennis Byrd each got paralyzed on the field of play.
Yep.
And they continued the game.
I agree.
In the 70s, Darryl Stingley got hammered by Jack Tatum, and they continued to play the game.
Yep.
So, there have been instances in prior years where there's been horrific injuries and people continue to play the game.
And somebody check me, but I'm pretty sure Darryl Stingley's injury was in a preseason game.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a full regular season game.
Yeah, Jack Tatum.
And to Adam Hines, you're right. And again, I hear it all the time on sports radio. Oh, these guys, they should make a ton of money because they only get to play for 3 years. And I say, you know what? When your minimum salary is $1 million, if you played 3 years, if that's the average, you just made $3 million. Do you know how long it takes me or the normal human being to go out and make $3 million?
You don't.
Right. Exactly. So to me, I don't want to hear, well, it's a rough game. It's a vicious game. Then don't play. Go get a job on Wall Street. Go get a job on a sanitation. Go take the fireman's exam. If you're getting the money you're getting, okay, in part because of the risk factor. The risk factor. I'm sure nobody knew that this could ever happen. Now we know there's no way to guard against it. What do you do? Put a pad in the pen? Go ahead.
Look at it this way. This is all you got to say. Okay. It would be impossible for us to do the math, but somebody would be able to do it. But I can tell you that it's in the millions. All right.
Okay.
It has to be in the millions. If you took every football game since the start of the NFL, with equipment, and this equipment got better and better and better throughout the years, and you figured out how many plays there were per game, how many hits per play, how many times was a guy hit per game, per play. You get a guy that runs the ball 50, 60 yards on a running play. He gets hit how many times? Back when hits were just unfucking believable, not like they are today where they bubble wrap these guys. And then if you take the amount of time, career-ending injuries, life-ending injuries, life-threatening injuries, and you figure out, okay, there's been 10 million plays in the NFL, which means there was 10 million tackles, but versus 1,000 guys that lost their careers throughout the years, and 2 guys or 3 guys or whatever it is that have actually died due to a hit on the field versus how many guys have been paralyzed. The number is so minuscule if you look at it that way. And I'm not discounting what happened to somebody.
No, it should happen to one guy, but that's the risk you signed up for.
And slip and hit your head on the nightstand, and that's it. It's over.
Again, you're getting paid at a minimum $1 million a year to play in a game that there is a chance, ever so slight, that your career could be ended, and honestly, your life could be ended. So I'm sorry. I of course I have empathy for the kid. I don't think it's. I wish it never happened to him. I hope he recovers 100%. Listen, I hope he finds a way to get back on the football field. I think it'd be an incredible story. If it's not a genetic thing, why not get back out there? I don't know what the damage to his brain and lungs.
They said right now, as it stands, there's no neurological damage.
Beautiful, great. But
he was able to ask who won the game.
Good for him.
Not speak, he wrote it down, so he has motor skills too.
But to me, then don't. If you're that afraid, don't play the game. If somebody offered me today to say, hey, we know you're not in shape, we know we haven't played, but we'll pay you what you get in your regular day job to go play football full time. I'll do it tomorrow. I would do it tomorrow. risking injuries because you know what? I'd rather play football once a week than do what I have to do every single day of my life to go out there and earn what I earn. So I'm sorry. Bengals for Louis. You know what? I wouldn't argue that at all. I've been a little down on the Bills, even though they were my preseason pick. I think the Chiefs are going to get crushed in the playoffs. So yeah, I like the way the Bengals are playing right now. That'd be interesting. But I gotta tell you, I hate the 49ers, and I can't root for another Super Bowl for the Bengals and have them lose. So please, dear God in heaven, they got to find a way to win, Lou. So please do me a favor. Hey, thanks all of you guys for listening. I appreciate it. Lots of good stuff going on. Remember our good buddies over at HempWizard.net. Make sure you check out the boys from Connemara. Our great buddies over at Black Sasquatch. All of them. Walking the dog. Is that what you're doing, Carrie? You're walking the dog? And thanks to all of you. We really do appreciate you coming back each and every week. We have a lot of fun doing this, and it's even better when everybody's paying attention to us. Again, I hope you guys had a great New Year's weekend. I did. I loved the 3-day weekend for myself, and I'll be heading to Florida soon. That's right. We'll be heading down to Florida for a vacation down the end of the month. So we'll have a week off coming up. I think it would be 20-something, 25th, I think it is. I don't know, 7, 12, 9, 26. The 26th will be off. Yes, Jeff Twinski took off walking the dog. I don't know. His dog is blind. And he loves his dog, and of course you should. I love mine. So when Basil wants to get down and leave, he's got to kind of pick her up and get her down to the spot, and I'm sure he's handed her off to his wife. So yes, Jeff is probably taking Basil because he was keeping an eye on her because she's on the bed and she can't see. So he was looking out for the dog. So he's an old softy at heart, that Jeff Towinski. But again, we got a lot to talk about here. We'll get a little music in. We got a lot more football to talk about. There's a lot going on beside this. If they ever do decide to play the games, we'll talk about the Giants' great win. Hey, I want to ask everybody a little bit while talking about the Giants. I know Louis saw it, but did anybody see? There was a hit by Kayvon Thibodeau. Let me see if I can get that up. Who plays for the Giants, who knocked out Nick Foles. And let me get that up on the screen here. Let's see. Kayvon Thibodeau. Nick Foles. Let's see. We can get that up on the screen for you guys. Give me half a second. Sorry, folks. I'm just freewheeling here, as they say. Share screen. We get that up there. We'll bring that up here. And as soon as this video plays, I will share this. But the New York Giants, when I watched number 5, he crushes Nick Foles. And unbeknownst to him, Nick Foles is writhing in pain. And the young man is doing snow angels while the quarterback is possibly have a ruptured spleen. And the doctors are in there. And, he's doing snow angels. And, I don't necessarily agree with it. There was a lot of talk this week around the league, and especially from Coach Jeff Saturday of the Colts, that this was not a cool thing to do. And I say, you know what? If it happened to my guy, I probably would be upset about it. But go get him, go hit him, go knock him on his ass for what he did. He's talking about he put him to sleep. Jeff, did you see all of that?
Yeah, Tom, it's Bush League shit from a Bush League team and a Bush League player that did nothing all season. And he's going to be known for making snow angels. I think it's that he's even on the fucking team.
First of all, he had a great season, by the way, first of all.
It's nothing.
Don't worry about his stats. You live and die with your stats. Forget about stats.
Player, his game is to tackle and to stop people. His stats did nothing for me.
He did a really great job this year. He did. He had a great year. He had a great season. For a rookie season, he missed the first couple of games. I agree with you, Lou. As a Giant fan, if I was a Colts offensive lineman, I would have been dropping haymakers on the guy. You can't let that happen, but you let it happen.
Jeff Saturday said the same thing, that he was pissed off with his own offensive line.
Yeah, and he should have been. And that's why Jeff Saturday won't be coaching the Colts next year, but that's a whole different story.
Jeff Saturday should never have been a coach.
But I think it's Bush. I agree with you.
How come certain celebrations are just that, certain celebrations? Okay. How come an entire team could run the length of the field and jump in the stands and celebrate and take their picture in the end zone, but yet somebody does a couple moves after a sack and they'll be like, no, that's taunting, that's this.
I'm with you.
All the bullshit.
I'm not a big. The only one I kind of like is when they do like the leap into the stand. I think that's pretty cool. You got to kind of get the fans involved. But I'm not a big fan. To me, you score a touchdown, flip the ball to the referee, spike it, and get back to the. Pretend like you've been there before. So I'm with you on that. I'm not a big fan of this run down the end of the field and everybody does this, and I'm not.
That's listen. There's enough thuggery in the NFL as it is. All right, you don't need to fucking. Kick it up a notch and do something stupid like that. And as far as you want to jump in the stands after you scored a touchdown, the player that did that, that scored the touchdown, that is, should be the only one to do it. If you get 3 guys that jump in the stands, I'll tell you what, 15 yards for each player that fucking participates.
They used to do that. Now they've allowed the celebration to happen, but they used to say you couldn't do a whole big routine, and couldn't get multiple people into it. So, I agree with that, though.
But what they didn't say is if 4 guys, the guy that scored the touchdown, and 4 other guys go running down the length of the field to celebrate and to pose and do all that stupid shit that they do, well, they'd be like, you 4 guys, let's see, 4 times 15, that's a 60-yard penalty. And we're going to assess that at the end of the touchdown, or at the end of the kickoff. So, if you kick the ball and they took it out of the end zone and they got it to their 10-yard line, now they add the 60 yards on, 15 for each player, and then you'll see how fast that'll stop immediately.
Oh yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more. They're actually out there. The players have basically said we want to do this, and they kind of said, all right, we turn a blind eye to it, let it happen. That's basically what happens.
Yeah, but meanwhile, you go like this. That's it. It's taunting and.
Well, I agree. And one of the Giant a couple weeks ago, one of the Giant players, Slayton, caught a pass, and he muscled through a bunch of guys, and one of the linemen went running over to him like, "Holy shit, can't believe it!" He was like, "Yeah, great," and they threw a 15-yard penalty for taunting.
But they shouldn't. They shouldn't.
If you're going to allow guys to jump into the stands, they do all these theatrical things. That's not taunting. That's just as much taunting.
I believe that's even more taunting.
I agree.
And it shouldn't be allowed.
I'm certainly with you on that. So, but again, listen, if I'm the rookie, somebody the team's got to pull him aside and say, hey, if you notice that the guy next to you is still on the floor, maybe looking for his spleen, maybe you shouldn't do snow angels next to him. I don't think it's a good thing. But
it's not. Listen, I understand the heat of the moment in the NFL. Must be an incredible thing to experience.
Oh my God, 80,000 people screaming like that.
Yeah, all of those people going completely batshit. You just made a big play that helped your team, and you want to celebrate. I can understand that, but I mean, have a little class for yourself, for your team. Don't let other people talk about you and say, well, this guy this guy that. All right, so the guy did something stupid. He's a young player. He's a Giant. There's enough said right there. Well, what are you going to do?
Well, that's what you wouldn't understand this since we're a playoff team, unlike your team another year. Your team has the longest streak in sports without a playoff appearance. Oh, it's sad. Sad.
Oh, I listen.
Sad.
That's fine. Next year.
Do you know that the Rolling Stone magazine placed Bob Dylan ahead of Elvis on the list of 200 greatest singers?
Bob Dylan was placed ahead of Elvis?
Yes.
I don't know what the fuck that's all about.
We have to examine that list. They also said that Ozzy wound up very low on the list. You care what the list looks like? You want to hear it?
No, you could go over the list. And as far as Ozzy goes, listen, Ozzy's not the greatest singer in the world. Ozzy just happened to be in one of the best bands in the world.
Yeah.
There's a big difference there.
Let's see if I can find the Rolling Stone list real quick. I know we're talking football, but we like to bounce around here a little bit. Keep it interesting. So top 200 singers. This must be interesting. Let's see. First off, anybody doesn't think so, Bob Dylan sucks. So You might be right. It's kind of like the Bruce Springsteen thing. They might write some good songs, but they can't sing. So just keep that in mind.
I think that's part of the allure with him, man.
What, that he's so bad?
I think so. I think it's that he's like a folk singer. And I don't know what it is because I don't like him either.
Yeah, I just let's see. Well, so I'm going to give you the top 20. How's that? We won't go too far. I can give you the whole list, but I'm going to give you. Oh, come on, man! Why are you doing that to me? I'm going to give you the top 2. I'm going to give you the top 20. Let's see. Let's see what the top 20 looks like. Yeah, I think both of those guys are just horrendous. So let's see. For some reason, okay, let's see if that'll work now. Sorry, guys. I'm a one. Yeah, see, for some reason it's. Hold on. Let's see. It's rebooting now. Okay, so top 20. Marvin Gaye at number 20. I'm not a huge fan, but okay, let's.
Well, it's a different kind of music and a different.
Well, let's see what the 20 is, and let's see who belongs, who doesn't belong. How's that? So we got Marvin Gaye at 20. The chairman of the board, Frank Sinatra, again, another guy I'm not a huge fan of, but he's at number 19.
No, I don't understand that. How the fuck they put him in 19?
I don't know who Celia Cruz is, but Celia Cruz is number 18, so we'll have to get down a little bit. Now, Elvis is number 17 all-time singing. Then you got Prince at 16. Bob Dylan is 15. I don't understand how you. Freddie Mercury only lasted to 14.
Number one must be a fucking winner.
13 is Patsy Cline.
Okay.
All right. John Lennon at number 12.
Oh, there we go.
Little Richard at 11. Al Green at 10.
Al Green.
Otis Redding at 9.
Oh.
Beyonce, Jeff, has made it to the top 8. She's at number 8 right now. There's a joke. Stevie's at 7. I don't have a problem with Stevie being in the top 10. Stevie
Wonder?
Yeah.
He's not that great of a singer. Maybe he had success and he sold a lot of albums. Maybe that got him to the top 7. But I don't think that he's better than fucking Freddie Mercury.
Ray Charles, who I think is a tremendous musician, and at number 6, I don't understand. Mariah Carey has made it to number 5 on this list.
Until Mariah Carey went nuts, she can do things with a voice that others can only dream of. She's great. Don't get me wrong.
Billie Holiday at 4, jazz legend. Sam Cooke at 3. Jeff, let's see. I'm gonna give you 2 guesses. 2 women, African American women, are the top 2.
Aretha Franklin.
She is number 1.
Okay, and the other one, another African American woman,
who passed away.
Anita Baker.
Nope. Whitney Houston.
Whitney, are you fucking kidding me?
Yes. So the top 20, according to Rolling Stone, the ultra liberal piece of shit rag that they are. Aretha Franklin, Whitney Houston, Sam Cooke, Billie Holiday, Mariah Carey, Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder, Beyonce.
Wait a second. Wait. Hold on. Give me a second. I got to get a piece of paper and a pen here. All right. I'm going to ask you to go from number 1 down to 20 and just read the list again. Please.
Okay. Whenever you're ready. From 1 to 20?
Yeah, 1 to 20. Go ahead. I'll tell you why afterwards.
Aretha Franklin.
Okay.
Whitney Houston.
Okay.
Sam Cooke.
Okay.
Billie Holiday.
Okay.
Mariah Carey's at 5.
Okay.
Ray Charles.
Okay.
Stevie Wonder.
Got it.
Beyonce.
Yep.
Otis Redding.
Okay.
Al Green.
All righty.
Little Richard.
Got it.
John Lennon, the first white guy to make the list at number 12. Just to start it out there, by the way. Patsy Cline at 13.
Okay.
Freddie Mercury finally got on the list at 14.
Okay.
Bob Dylan at 15.
Okay.
16 would be Prince.
Okay.
17, the king of rock and roll, Mr. Elvis Aaron Presley.
Okay.
18 is a lady by the name of Celia Cruz.
Okay, I'm gonna put her up. Okay.
I don't know who she is. Number 19 is the chairman of the board, Mr. Frank Sinatra.
Okay.
And 20 is Mr. Marvin Gaye.
All right. So now the reason I did that is because you kind of
Roll through it.
put up for me. But off that list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 1, 2, 3, 14 people were black or Spanish or had black in them.
Yep.
Only 3 people were white. I would love to know who made that list.
Well,
Because that was no voted in list.
well, here's the thing. So, what's the criteria for greatest singer? Is it the person with the best voice? Is it voice, career?
Well, if you're going best voice, that is a subjective thing because you may like Prince's voice, which is fine.
Yeah.
But I may like Ronnie James Dio's voice. You may think that Yngwie Malmsteen is the greatest guitarist. I may turn around and say the guy from Twisted Sister is the greatest guitarist.
Yeah.
I don't think that you could go by voice. I think that maybe record sales maybe played a part in it. What else could it possibly be?
Well, the normal with lists like this is what happens is they ask thousands of people to vote. So, and they say, give us your top 5. And each vote gets a certain amount of points. And then whoever gets the most points as in these things, that's how they get listed. Now, I will tell you, Ronnie James Dio and Rob Halford and Ripper. I don't know about Ripper. Ripper's good, but I mean, I am at. I'll give you the next few, just to see. Show you what it's look at.
Just don't even bother giving the next few. Give us the first hard rock or metal singer on that.
I am at 31. No, I am at 32. No. Well, Freddie Mercury would have been the first one at 14. Next one would be Tom York. I don't know what band he is. He looks like a hard rock singer. Kurt Cobain at 36. You count that as a hard rock singer. Van Morrison at 37.
Van Morrison, classic rock, maybe.
Louis Armstrong is 39 on the list as singers go. I mean, Louis Armstrong is not a great singer. Teddy Pendergrass, who's much better than him, was at 42. Ariana Grande, James Brown is horrendous. Jeff, I'm going up the list right now. Linda Ronstadt, Tony Braxton. I'll let you know if any of them. Joni Mitchell. Let's see. I am at that was up to 50, and I got nobody. So you want me to keep going to see what I get?
I'm actually trying to grab the list too, so I can see if there's anybody that I want to ask about. But I can see the top 10. But how do you go?
You got to slide if you're on the Rolling Stone one, you slide the scale over.
What scale? I don't see.
I don't know which one I can put this list on the screen if you want to say.
Yeah, put it on the screen, please.
Okay, hold on a second. I will present share screen. Share it. Okay, Jeff. So I'm getting down to the 50 where we left off, and I see a lot. Yeah. Okay. So 51 is Sade, nice singer. Nothing wrong with Sade. Ahead of Mick Jagger. I'm not a huge Mick Jagger fan. Don't get me wrong. Miriam Makeba. I don't know who that is, Jeff. You're gonna have to figure that one out for me.
No.
Willie Nelson. Again, Willie Nelson's a funny guy and all that, but Willie Nelson's voice is horrendous. Tina Turner. I think she's much higher on this list if you ask me. Tina Turner has a great. Barry White. How's Mr. Barry White not in the top 20? Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys.
I can tell you why Barry White's not in the top 20.
Why?
Remember some of the pictures I sent you since New Year's Eve?
Yes.
Maybe Barry White had something to do with some of that, and he was punished.
And well, he should be punished for that. Yes, Russ Wilson is a great singer. Yes. Again, Lady Gaga. Again, we're at 58. We're going. Howlin' Wolf. I'm not sure who Howlin' Wolf is, Jeff. You have any thoughts on Howlin' Wolf?
Was a blues singer.
Okay. Kate Bush is at 60.
Kate's Bush.
Olm Coltham. Do you know who Olm Coltham is?
Mr. and Mrs. Coltham's son.
It's a woman, no less.
This is Coltham's daughter, who looks like her son.
George Michael, who I absolutely think has a great voice and should have been the replacement for Freddie Mercury if he wasn't crazy in Queen, but as that number 62.
He has made.
There's your first
dead lists.
Yes.
And well, Robert Plant. I don't know.
That's your first hard rock singer. Bjork.
I wouldn't consider him hard rock, to be honest with you.
Okay, David Ruffin, Dennis Brown, whoever Dennis Brown is. Dennis Brown's on Rihanna, who I think she looks like she smells. Ronnie Spector, I think, who just passed away recently. Roy Orbison, not a great voice for Roy Orbison. Distinctive, maybe. Good, great, no.
I think he was pretty much known for his falsetto, to be honest.
Yeah, it just wasn't, it's not a voice you go, wow, I can listen to that all day.
No,
Hector Lavoe, I don't know who else.
3 minutes, and then I got to change it.
Exactly. Patti LaBelle. We're getting sure whoever D'Angelo is. Brown Sugar. Don't know who D'Angelo is. Wilson Pickett. Bruce Springsteen at number 77 has made the list, Jeff. One of the worst singers of all time has made the list. Janis Joplin, another one that I can't stand, but that's okay. Emmylou Harris. Chris Cornell at 80, Jeff. Is that your first hard rock? Temple of the Dog?
I'll allow that one to stand, although he should be about, a fuckload higher. Listen to Slaves and Bulldozers and tell me he
Steve Perry. Now, Steve Perry, I'm not a huge fan of Steve Perry the person, but Steve Perry the singer was phenomenal back in the day. Amy Winehouse, who was a turd, had a great voice. She should be much higher on this list than some of these other people.
She looks like
Oh, yeah. A lot of Madagascar. I don't know who that is. Whatever. Johnny Cash. Okay, you could put Johnny Cash on that list with some people. Very distinctive. Michael Jackson should have been higher on the list. Diana Ross should be much higher on this list. Jimmy Rogers. We're getting close. I don't think we're going to make it to 200, but we're creeping up a little bit here. I'm going to go see if we wind up at 200. How's that?
Yeah. Well, listen, we got to know.
All right, hold on. Oh, you want to know the whole list?
I got to. You can start at 200, but I got to look this up myself.
Well, number 190, number 200 is Rosalia. Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with her work. Glenn Danzig from Danzig, that's a band. When their music comes on, I have to throw something at the thing to get it off. He is horrendous. Their music is horrendous. Billie Eilish, I don't understand. Burna Boy, I'm going to go right past Burna Boy. Paul Westerberg. Polly Strine, not sure who she is. Kelly Clarkson, oh, Jesus Christ. Brandy. I don't know who Anohini is. It's something to do with collaborations with Yoko Ono. You're out off the bat. Jungkook, whoever that is. Frank Ocean, whoever that is. Joan Baez. Jeff, there's a lot of names I just don't recognize here.
Bonnie Raitt.
Bonnie Raitt, good singer. She should be a lot higher on this list than some of these people. Where do you think Madonna wound up on this list? That's one of those.
Somewhere between 183 and wherever you left off the other side of the list.
Bob Seger at 181. Bob Seger with a nice voice. I don't know who Ziza is. Solana Rowe, the girl from New Jersey who loved Dirty Shoes and Dirty Men.
Okay.
I don't get it, Jeff. Okay. What does that have to do with singing? Why is that? Martha Wash. Don't know who she is. Oh, she was half of the Weather Girls. It's Raining Men, Jeff. Your song you sing all the time.
The girls in that picture.
She ate a couple of them. Patty Loveless. Don't know who she is. Boy, they really had to start. Iggy Pop. Iggy Pop is the most frightening looking human being there is nowadays. You ever see Iggy Pop?
Yeah. He has skin like leather.
Yeah. Strictly going by voices. The cleanest voice who hits every single purpose, Karen Carpenter. Again, I would never argue with that. Although I kind of like Russell Wilson better, but that's I go with it. Let's see, Lana Del Rey, Buddy Holly at 174, not the greatest singer in the world. Marianne Faithfull, Juan Gabriel, Odetta. Boy, Jeff, they had to stretch. Chris Stapleton. I like Chris Stapleton.
I heard one song.
He's got a couple good tunes. Tennessee Whiskey's a really good tune. Sylvester, I don't know who Sylvester. She died of AIDS. She died of AIDS.
Hey, no, he was a gay man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, it says there, Trailblazer out as a gay man.
Would only cop to bisexuality. I don't know, Jeff. Debbie Harry, okay, I guess. I don't know. Mark Anthony, a good voice. He should be higher enough on this list. Morrissey. Ronnie James Dio, Jeff, at 165 is the true first metalhead that I've seen.
You're going.
I'm going the wrong direction.
The last metalhead, I would say.
Yeah, Adam. Yes, this is. I would tell you, as music fans, Jeff, and I, we probably couldn't figure out who half of these people are.
I know a lot of them. I've heard the names, but I don't know. It's like this girl. I don't know who this is.
Carrie, I'm with you. Iggy Pop is probably a great musician. All that. He's frightening looking though. Right now, he's frightening looking. Bobby Blue Bland. I don't know who Bobby Blue Bland is. Francois Hardy. I think that you would say that. Francois Hardy. I don't know who that is.
Nope.
French cool. Brenda Lee. I know who Brenda Lee is. I love her Christmas music. Mercedes Sosa. Not sure. Mississippi John Hurt. I don't know. I can't say that I know Mr. Hurt. Born in 1893. No. Father of 14, though, Jeff. The man was a busy man. Carrie Underwood got a great voice. Maybe she should be a little higher. Robert Smith.
From The Cure.
Yep. You nailed it. George Strait. Good stuff from George Strait. Corin Tucker. Not sure who Corin Tucker is, but her bandmates like her. Dion DiMucci from the Runaround Sue and Abraham Martin and John. Jeff, are you familiar with Mala Hatini?
I think they slay lions.
Yes, I think after the show's over, they're out slaying lions. I would agree with that. Michael Stipe, REM.
Gay. Literally.
Martha Reeves.
Vandellas.
Yep.
Vandellas.
Yep, from the Vandellas. We got to move on to a different. We're at 154. We got to go down to 150. Did all that right? Next category. Sorry, guys. I kind of just stumbled onto this list, so
it don't let you go all the way through the numbers, does it?
No, you got to go to the next. No, you can't. They haven't broken down. 140 is Bono. Another jerk off in the world.
Yeah.
Rocio Duracal. I don't know who that is, Jeff. Merle Haggard, like Merle Haggard, but not a great singer. Yeah, country. El DeBarge. How did El DeBarge get on the list higher than Ronnie James Dio?
Why is he on any list?
Lauryn Hill, who should be deported and never back in this country. IU, Jeff, are you a big fan of South Korean IU?
Can't say I am.
All right.
IU.
Now, here's the tragedy. Anybody who's a fan of Guns N' Roses knows Axl Rose is a terrible singer. Terrible singer. Why is Axl Rose on this list?
Dude, take solace in knowing he's only 134 on the list. It's not
but
like
he's ahead of Ronnie James Dio. There's a few.
I hear you, but he's only 134. How is somebody to want to talk about on the list? Neil Young.
Yeah, why is he so high up on the list? I don't get it. Loretta Lynn had a great voice, should be higher up. Jeff Buckley, you know who Jeff Buckley is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't. I have no idea who he is.
I've heard of him. I don't know exactly what he's done.
All right, Courtney Love, again, another human being. Why is Courtney Love on this list? She should only make the dead list at this point in her career.
Well, she has not fulfilled her obligations of yet.
There he is. There's the man himself, Mr. Rob Halford at 129.
Tell me that picture's not photoshopped. They got that picture from someplace else.
Well, I think so. Right now, technically, Rob Halford would be the highest on the list, or the lowest on the list, I guess you would call it.
He's
With
got it
Dion,
done for a reason.
I would say Rob Halford should be much higher on this list.
I would believe. I agree.
Florence Welch, we don't know who she is. How about Tammy Wynette's a good singer, but
Yeah, I know who she is, but I don't know.
Donny Hathaway, I know you have some of his Christmas music, Donny Hathaway.
I may.
Yeah, you might have right next to your Sergio Franco albums. Joe Strummer from The Clash. I like some Clash stuff. Joe's got a good voice. I think
This is all filler now at this point in time.
Yep, I think that's it. They're just looking for names. Robert Johnson. That's
I
know Robert Johnson more for the music than I do for the singing, though. No,
never mind that. I think he was known more for the possibility of actually selling his soul to the devil.
That's true.
Because he made it and got killed.
Louis, there you are. Karen Carpenter at 123. I bet you Yoko Ono's on this list and higher than Karen Carpenter. I would tell you that.
In her day, I don't think anybody was higher than Karen Carpenter.
Donna Summer makes the list at 122. Hey guys, Hard Rocket Sports, thanks for hanging in. We're just having some fun going through the list of Rolling Stones top 200 singers, which we find comical. Jackie Wilson, a great singer, at 121. Charlie Rich, not too familiar with Charlie Rich's work.
Which is a country singer.
We got Barrington Levy, again, another guy.
Is that a mugshot, or is he Mr. Robinson's neighbor?
I think he was auditioning for Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood at this point.
Yeah, that's that look. Yeah.
John Fogerty, a really good singer. I like John's work in Clearance and
I hate Creedence Clearwater Revival, man. Oh, it sounds like somebody took sandpaper and just belt sanded that man's throat.
Patti Smith makes the list at number 117. Chet Baker, if you're a fan of Chet Baker, he made it to 116.
No, Erykah
Badu has a great voice. Not a big fan of the music. She has a great voice. I don't know why she's so high up on this list. Chrissy Hynde from the Pretenders. A couple good Pretenders songs, but good voice. La India. Obviously, I'm thinking from India somewhere, but she's La India. Her real name is Linda Caballero. I don't know why she's known as La India, but that's okay. Mr. Ozzy Osbourne at number 112 is the highest singer on the list, Jeff.
Highest metal singer.
Highest metal singer.
Come across Bruce Dickinson.
Nope.
Tate as of yet.
That is correct, and I'm not expecting to. If Ozzy's at 112, to me, Ozzy's got to be the first metal singer that we're going to find. Pure metal singer.
We'll find out.
We're getting there. Let's see. All right, so Ozzy Osbourne at number 112. Let's see who's in front of Ozzy. Fiona Apple. Her of the. I don't believe she eats anything. Jeff, The Weeknd is better than Ozzy, and he's obviously much better. He's up there. The Weeknd. You know The Weeknd?
I've heard of him. I don't know what he does, to be honest.
I know his cousin Tuesday. I haven't met The Weeknd yet, but I know his cousin. Surprisingly, Roger Daltrey's made the list at 109. A good voice.
Surprised he should be way higher than that.
I would agree with that. I'm not a big fan of The Who, but he's got a great voice. But he is right behind Caetano Veloso, who's we all know is. And by the way, he's the nation's homegrown equivalent to Bob Dylan. So there's something to strive for.
Yeah.
Let me be the Italy's. It's actually Brazil. Let me be Brazil's version of Bob Dylan, and I suck out loud. Lou Reed, again, this is hipster doofus world. We got Lou Reed. Oh, my God. Never mind.
Lou Reed actually was had a career in other aspects of rock music, like the New York Dolls era and stuff like that. So, but I agree with you, and I'm not a huge fan, but.
Oh, my God. 106 is Mr. Bill Withers. Eddie Vedder at 105. Not a big fan, but Jeff, do you think that
maybe 205?
Okay, I'm okay. Aaron Neville, who when he sings, I want to rip the thing from his head, and and that whole singing with that. Oh my God, just too much on my end. So Aaron Neville. Leonard Cohen, I didn't know was a singer. I thought was a musical genius, but Leonard Cohen's at 103. I've not seen Frank Zappa yet, Lou, so we're working our way down the list. 102.
Have not seen Tom Jones.
Yep. Gladys Knight at 101. Nice voice. We got to drop it to the next group. Let's drop to the next group, Jeff. Number 100 on the list. So Elton John popping in at 100. Now, Elton John is way too low on this list.
I'm not Billy Joel either.
I'm sure he'll be coming up. Clyde McPhatter,
Nope.
good singer, but okay. Bob Marley, not my taste, but okay. I guess that number 98 is Bob Marley. Usher, Jeff, breaks in at 97 ahead of Ozzy and Rob Halford and a bunch of guys. So I guess Usher's a great singer. Chuck Berry should be much higher on this list, I would think, at 96. Oh, Jeff, if you wear a hat like that, you should be on this list.
Dude, look how tight that man's pants are. You could see the serial number on his dong.
I could see his mariachi.
Yeah.
I can see his dangling mariachi, Jeff. That's Vicente Fernandez, Jeff. Vicente Fernandez made the list.
Oh, yeah. He deserved it.
He's the Idol of Mexico, Jeff. He earned the title of Idol of Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Toots Hibbert. Now, Jeff, if your nickname is Toots, you're on the list.
Yeah, I don't know who would have. I don't know. I'll bypass him. Stevie Nicks. All right.
Stevie Nicks deserves to be much higher on this list.
That's reasonable. And if Stevie Nicks is on this list, is Christine McVeigh on this list?
Very quick. Anita Baker, Jeff, makes the list. You mentioned Anita Baker before. And
Well, I meant to say Anita Pointer.
I know you did.
But
let's see. Maybe Anita made the other Anita made it. Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan has made the list, Jeff. Archival performances of the late Pakistani vocal master. I would only imagine he's in the same vein as Yoko Ono. That's his singing style.
Yeah, I think you could tell by the expression on his face, the sweater. Yeah, it's not looking.
Gal Costa will pass Gal. We don't know what she's famous for. She should not be wearing a top like that.
She's wearing a gold lame bikini top. So,
Selena. Okay, I guess I don't know. I top ahead of some of the people on this list. Jimmy Rogers, Jeff, made the list. Whoever Jimmy Rogers is, but he's got a cool hat, so he's in. Diana, do we have Diana? Oh, Donna Summer already. So Diana Ross finally makes the list at number 87. Michael Jackson, 886. Oh, we had the 80s. We did this. Johnny Cash. So let's get down.
We didn't get to Bruce Dickinson.
I'm dropping up. We skipped over a whole bunch, so I'm gonna go into those and see if we get anybody there. What is that? So Cornell at 80. We did that already, right? Emmylou Harris, we did all of those.
Lane Staley was not on the list.
80 to 61. I'm trying to get to 80 to 61. So Emmylou Harris, we did this one already. Let's do 60 to 41. So where is Bjork? We did all of these, right? Okay, Kate Bush at 60, Howlin' Wolf at 59, Lady Gaga at 58. Right, I think we did all of this. I think that's the list. No Lane Staley, no Bruce Dickinson. There's no Neil Diamond. I'm sorry, Adam. There's no Neil Diamond on there. No Tom Jones.
Yeah, wow.
No Tom Jones. I mean, Tom Jones, his Swans alone should have been on the list. Tom Jones' Swans should have been on this list. I'm sorry. You can't have the 200 greatest singers, and Tom Jones' Swanson should have been number 2 and number 3.
Kurt Cobain was number 36.
Yes.
Wow.
I will revisit the top 30 list here. As you know, David Bowie got a little closer to the top than I think he should. Luther Vandross, Hank Williams, Chaka Khan, Jeff, Mahalia Jackson, Dolly Parton at number 27. Dolly's Mountains. Paul McCartney, again, great bass player and obviously a legendary songwriter. I'm not sure he's the greatest singer I've ever seen. Let's see. George Jones, we did all of that. Smokey Robinson. Very disappointing list, Jeff. This is the ultra liberal Yeah, a lot of again, a lot of people we never heard of, obviously. So it's an interesting list and one that we've had some fun picking apart, I would say.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good list, man.
Well, again, we did get 3 pure metal singers on there with Ozzy and Halford and Ronnie James. Yes, I agree that Dickinson and Jeff Tate deserve to be on that list, but
You have other people commenting?
no, why? Who's commenting?
I don't know. Like you said, some of the things you said, I only see certain people come up.
I mean, Carrie's been Louis, Carrie, Adam Hines.
But you said Finelli?
Well, Rob was on earlier on. He popped in, and the guys from Black Sasquatch popped in, and
I didn't even see him.
oh yeah. There's been a bunch of people popped in and out. Tommy Gunn, Frank Catalano popped up for a little bit.
Yeah, I saw him.
Yeah. So, in fact, congratulations to Frank for finishing second and getting completely abused in his championship game against Iggy Mosteen. But he did finish second and he received his prize. So, congratulations, Frank. And wait till next year is all I can say. Again, guys, Hard Rocket Sports, thanks for tuning in. We'll go a little longer tonight if Jeff's still good with it.
Wait till next year.
I'm good.
But this was an interesting list to go through. I have to be honest with you.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah, again, it's Rolling Stone. It's a rag. It's any magazine that puts Justin Bieber on the cover all the time is can't be a music magazine. So I don't think I've ever read. Have you ever read Rolling Stone at all? Have you ever opened it up?
A couple of them. I've had a couple different Rolling Stone magazines over the years, but it wasn't something like I got to get this. It's my go-to.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. It was always like, well, all right, who's on the cover kind of thing.
Back in the day, was it Kerrang? Was it Cream? Was it
Kerrang was hard to find, but Circus, Cream.
Yeah.
Kerrang was hard to find because it was in where would you find that? Zigzag, I think it was.
Okay.
It wasn't something that you could just go to the store and find, at least none of the stores I went to. Cream magazine, Circus, there was another one too.
Yeah, there was a few back in the day because there was the only way you got news on some of these bands.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rolling Stone, I can honestly say I don't think I ever read an issue or purchased. I certainly never purchased one. I might have been like a doctor's office, maybe browsed through one that had somebody decent on the cover, but any magazine that had Yoko Ono listed as a top 100 entertainers, I can't buy into.
Yeah,
Hit that's a good one. Yes, Metal Edge. I read Metal Edge all the time. And
that was the other one. Yeah,
that was a good one, Carrie. Good call on that one. Yeah, good for you.
Great. I remember that one without a doubt.
Yeah, for sure. Again, guys, Hard Rocket Sports, Jeff and Tom here every week. Let me go back to Blabbermouth to see if there's anything else I want to kind of mention. Okay, so Todd, there seems to be some sort of a between Todd Latore and Dee Snider. I don't know if you care about that.
You think Todd Latore? What more could you? Stop. You're more famous for your arguments and shit than you are in the band that you sing for.
Let's see. Let's see. Gene Simmons is upset that Ozzy's way too high on that list. He thinks he should be high. I kind of disagree. I don't think Ozzy's in that spot based on name and name only. I mean, it's not. We didn't go by who the best thing is. There's no way Ozzy's higher on a list of singers than Ronnie James Dio or Rob Halford. It's just impossible.
I agree. I agree on that.
Looks like Frankie Bellows rehearsing for tribute concert for the late Rush drummer Neil Peart. There's a ton of these Rush ones, and nobody can get an Eddie Van Halen one ever done. It seems like what's his name? David Lee Roth is roadblocking the whole thing.
Well, you know what, dude? It comes down to when you think about Eddie Van Halen, who's going to be playing guitar? You know what I mean? That's a big thing. It's not like you have one of these other people singing. It's David Lee, Eddie Van Halen Come on, man. It's Eddie Van Halen, you know?
Yeah. By the way, I figured out why Todd Latore and Dee Snider are going back and forth. Do you want to know why?
Sure. What do you got?
Dee Snider on why Dio and Plant are not great frontmen. They are amazing singers, but they are not great performers.
And Latore says this?
Well, so that's Dee Snider. So Latore came back and says, what are you talking about? What do they have to do? Jump up and down and do cartwheels to make you happy? They're great performers because they're great singers.
Yeah.
So your boy Dee Snider, who's a bit of a jerk off himself, is basically saying, hey, great singers, but not great frontmen, which I would totally disagree with.
Yeah, I would think.
So, but that's let's see. Paul Di'Anno's healthy enough, Jeff, going on tour this year, doing a 2022 Latin American tour. Mr. Paul Di'Anno, his leg wasn't looking so good the last time I saw.
No, matter of fact, does he still have a leg?
It's a great question. Let me go back, click on the article real fast, and we'll get back to some football.
He didn't have health coverage, I believe.
I don't think so. I think that they messed up. It wasn't the tour. He was actually working in some of the arenas as the janitor. They got it wrong. Iron Maiden singer will embark on a tour of Latin America in late January. The Beast Resurrection Tour will feature support from Nocturnal and Electric Gypsy. Let's see if they show them if they have any sort of a picture of Paul. Thanks for your support. I do not see any pictures of Paul. Let's see. Hold on. Warhorse. Di'Anno, who finally underwent his knee surgery on September 12, 2022, played his first show since the operation. Last month, Paul was joined by Greek guitar virtuoso Gus G, well known in medical circles. Wow, Gus G joined Paul Di'Anno for some songs.
I must have owed him money or something.
Last May. Yeah, no. Hold on. Let me show you the artwork for his tour. I got to show it. So if he's ever tried to capitalize on the Maiden,
Wow. Okay.
My first thought it was an Iron Maiden announcement, Jeff.
Yeah, that's what it certainly looks like. I guess Iron Maiden said you could do this.
I'm going to guess that he must have asked Steve Harris when he ran into him in Croatia last year. Hey, Steve, I'm desperate. Can you please let me use all your artwork from the early Maiden albums?
See, if you look,
that's the wall that was in the first Maiden album, right?
Yeah, and that's the style of Eddie on the first Maiden album, and there's the axes.
Yep.
See if you could look up Paul Di'Anno 2022, see what he looks like.
All right, let's see if I can find that for you, Jeff. I aim to please. Let's see. Paul Di'Anno images. Well, this is kind of what it looks like right now. I'd say.
Old pictures.
You think so?
I know so. That picture's been circulating around.
All right. Let's see if I put it. Paul Di'Anno.
Did he pay the bill?
Yes, that one. I put 2022 images, and this is what's coming up. So,
what about that one there with his arms crossed? Right there, he's playing. Yeah, that one there.
He's one handsome devil, Jeff. You got to give him.
Oh yeah, yeah.
This guy's
and times 3.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is probably last year when he ran into to Di'Anno. So he's in the wheelchair still at that point.
You know what I could imagine? You know, I've sent you a couple pictures today, and you said those people smell.
Yes.
Well, I'm thinking that Paul Di'Anno
smells
will smell like gangrene and old people. the pungent smell of rotting flesh off of bone. That's what I'm
thinking. You're welcome, Lou. The breakfast was fun. We're going to do it again, I promise. Thanks again for breakfast. I don't want Jeff to think you still have your communion money. I went out to breakfast last week with I invited Jeff to come. He was just a little too busy.
Yeah, I couldn't get away.
But I went out to breakfast with Lou and my friend Pete. And I picked Deb because they always very generous guys, and I always want to kind of say thank you to them. So
I should have went. Maybe I wouldn't have had the meltdown at work that I had today.
Too many front men rely on shtick. Yeah, Adam. I saw Ozzy and Sabbath for the first time with Jeff a few years back on their last tour, and Ozzy barely moved. The guys in the band, you would swear their shoes were screwed to the floor, and it was one of the best shows I've ever seen. I mean, the music was great. Ozzy sounded good. I'm sure they enhanced them. It was great, but nobody was doing backflips. To me, guys like Dio and Plant and those guys, I want to hear them sing. I'm not here to watch them, run around the stage and jump over things. That's not what it's all about.
No, listen, if they're putting on a show and it fits and it's good, that's what.
But what do you want? Let me ask you a question. What, like, I love Deano Dickinson and the guys all over the stage. But what's he really doing? He runs from one place to the other. He kind of does some what to me, what do you want a singer to do? To me, magic tricks. What is it, Jeff? That somebody would want a frontman to do other than sing?
He's supposed to command the show. He's supposed to take over the show. He's the one leading the band. He's a leader on stage.
Yeah.
He should be all over the place. He should be getting the crowd into it. Don't leave an area, without getting attention to it. We all know that you're not looking at me. You're looking in a general direction. If you happen, he looked right at me. No, he didn't.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. He's looking into a crowd of 20,000 something fucking people.
Yeah.
You just happen to think he was looking at you. He wasn't.
Yeah.
To keep people going. He has to keep people up. The singer don't do the right thing. The people sit down. That's it. It's over.
Yeah, I'm all for singers getting involved with the crowd, but I don't know what you'd want them to do. I mean, I saw Alice Cooper. I thought he was great, but the whole, I know that's his thing, the theatrics of it. I couldn't see that again. Like, I like Alice Cooper. I think he's a great singer. I do. I really like Alice Cooper, but I'm not going there to see a magic show. I'm going there to see a good band, play good music, and call it a day. But he was good. So I saw Alice Cooper, the Maiden, a few years back, me and my son, and it was a great show. I got to say I saw Alice Cooper, and he was. Well, I didn't need all the guillotines and all that. Go out there and sing and get off the stage.
That's what he was known for years.
I get it. I do. And I'm a huge Kiss fan, and I put up with all their theatrics, but it's a little different. But it is what it is. I'm sorry. I'm just checking. I got some people. Okay. Anyway, so, but again, that's if you can run around, jump, and wear a dress, whatever, but still sound good while doing that not many can pull that off. And I agree. I thought Freddie Mercury was a great front man. I don't think he did too much, but Freddie got the crowd involved. I think that, to me, is the ideal front man. If you ask me, Jeff, it wasn't about him jumping through hoops or all sorts of props. It was Freddie and half a mic stand, singing and doing his thing out there and getting the crowd involved, but just letting the band and his voice, letting them do their thing. And I thought that to me was a front man.
He commanded the audience's attention.
Yes.
He directed the audience. Like you're supposed to get them into it, show them where you want them to sing, help you out, make them feel like that they're part of the show, I guess you could say.
Yeah, listen, that's I thought it was to me, I never saw Freddie live, unfortunately. I thought his performance at Live Aid is one of the greatest performances of all time. The way he commanded the crowd and sang and did everything he did, one of the best ever performances of all time. I mean, that's if we were going to put together a top 10, that would be in my top 10, probably my top 5.
Oh, it would have to be.
Yeah, one of the great. So, again, thanks for Dave Grohl is today's great frontman. He gets the crowd involved. But I've never seen Dave Grohl. I've seen the videos, and I agree with you. He does a great job. I'm not a huge Dave Grohl fan, and it ain't his fault. It just seems like every time there's a medal award or somebody's got to induct somebody, Dave Grohl shows up. And I just think, who made Dave Grohl miss the medal? But Dave Grohl, I've seen a couple of shows. I get a kick out of it. One thing he does, I get a kick out of, Jeff, is he drags somebody up from the audience to play guitar in his show.
It's
You ever
probably,
see that?
yeah, I've seen videos of it and stuff. Probably prearranged.
Well, again, a couple of them, I've seen him. One was a young kid who did a really nice job playing some Metallica. And then there was a guy, a young, probably in his early 20s, a guy who had his face painted like Gene Simmons. I don't know why you would go to that show and paint your face like Gene Simmons, but he did. And he got there, played some of his band. His band. What's the name of his band again? It's escaping me at this moment.
So who?
Dave Grohl's band. What's the name of his band?
Fighters.
Huh?
Foo Fighters.
And this kid was playing Foo Fighter stuff, and it was really good. And Dave Grohl was like shocked, and you could see he was legitimately like, I can't believe this guy is this good. And it was, I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I have no idea. But I enjoyed that stuff. But otherwise, Dave Grohl gets under my skin for some reason, and I and it's not his fault. It's on me.
It is his fault. It's totally his fault. Like you said, you know, here and there, that's one thing you get involved, but this is what we have left after bands like Sabbath and Maiden and Metallica and some of these other bands, Sabbath, that just aren't playing anymore, aren't performing at a high level. And then we have Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters come in, and who the fuck wants to see them?
No, I agree. I totally agree. And again,
they did not take anybody. They brought heavy music down to a lower level. There is no heavy band that continued the Well, again,
I think that remains to be seen. I don't know. Like I said, I have been less impressed with some of the new music out there, but then again, I have not ventured outside. I need to do that. But let's get back to some football. We're gonna end the show with some football. I want to finish up with some Jet stuff, and then get to the Giants, and then the playoffs, and then we'll wrap it up. So I want to finish up with the Jets talk a little bit. So, Jeff, a very disappointing weekend for your Jets, losing to Seattle. And I think it was the effort for me that got it. But now we're at a crossroads for your squad, because there's a lot of whispers out there of people talking about the Jets making a play for Jim Harbaugh. Even if they're not going to, and they're going to stick with Coach Salah. There is a little bit of a hot seat next year if he is back. Same with Joe Douglas. Let's be honest. Joe Douglas did a great job this year, but Zach Wilson, Mekhi Becton, we can go. There's a few guys that we can point that has not turned out well. So there's a little bit of I don't think the Jets those two guys can have a not playoff year next year, and still have a job. But I think the biggest problem is, and I think you always point to for all of our teams, they don't have a quarterback, and nobody knows who their quarterback's going to be next year.
No, they don't. But you have to see once again who comes loose. All of this is going to start becoming clearer very shortly. Certain guys are going to be cut loose. You just hope that they don't regress and go backwards. That that they don't start looking at tape of Mayfield or Sam Darnold.
That's a name I've heard. Well, there's a lot of people who think Sam Darnold's turned the corner and he's going to be staying where he is. I can't see it, but I have heard the Baker Mayfield name a few times. I heard Boom Esiason say it a week or two ago. As a guy to come in and play for the Jets. I disagree with it.
No,
but
I see that.
Let me ask you this: name me a guy who you think you would say, I think this guy is going to be available, and I would like him to be the Jet quarterback next year. Is it Garoppolo?
I could see Garoppolo. I could see David Carr on some levels. Good night, Carrie.
Good night, Carrie.
I don't see very many else. I mean, I don't know anybody else off the top of my mind that will be made available. I hope it's not Andy Dalton. I think that they could do something with Garoppolo. I think they could do something with Carr. Garoppolo took the Niners to the Super Bowl, so he has experience. Derek Carr, whatever the fuck his name is, doesn't have that kind of experience. But I was watching a clip from ESPN, and they said, if the Jets get him, they're a playoff team. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, he didn't make Oakland or Las Vegas a playoff team, but what, once or twice since he's been there.
Now, could you say that he did have? Now, could you say he's a guy? If you dropped him into the Jet team that you think is pretty close to a playoff team, needs a quarterback with a great defense or a really good defense. I won't call them great. A really good defense and some really good receivers. Do you think that you could drop him into that spot and him be a guy who could take you to another level?
I think he would be an upgrade over what's his face, Zach Wilson.
Oh, I think you're an upgrade over Zach Wilson.
So I mean, what will they make the Super Bowl? I don't know.
See, the problem for the Jets is you're at a point right now where you need to kind of go out there and make this happen in the next year or two. I mean, really put a big rush on this. And you don't have a guy on your team. If you drafted somebody, you're probably going to be running through the same problems that you have right now with Zach Wilson. And, unless you're going to go out there and try to woo an Aaron Rodgers or a Tom Brady, which I don't think either one of them are going to come to the East Coast and play for the Jets.
There's no reason to take either one of them. I wouldn't want either one of them. They're both too old.
Let me tell you something. If you landed either one of them, you'd have a major upgrade on your team. Again, are they the guys I would want? I agree with you, but let's
Aaron Rodgers looks like he's bored and doesn't want to be out there.
He's played great the last 5 games. He's played really well.
You can't look at the previous 12 games and see what he did or whatever it is, and then say he played good for 5 games. We've heard this before. Zach Wilson had a great, incredible run of 5 games last season, where he threw for 78 yards, 79 yards, and no turnovers. So no, I wouldn't want him. No, thank you.
I'm not disagreeing, but for me, see, if I were the Jets, I would try to draft myself a quarterback, a young guy, and then I would go get a veteran guy for a couple of years. Now, who that veteran guy is, again, could you live with Derek Carr? Probably. Could you live with Garoppolo? Again, a lot of injuries. Can I live with him? Sure. Other than that, I don't know who's going to be available that you would go, that guy's my guy.
There's going to be plenty available. It's like, who are you going to want?
But that's the point. I get you. Do you want Jameis Winston? Do you want Baker Mayfield? Do you want Davis Mills? No, you don't want any of those guys.
No, you don't. So there are going to be a couple that are going to slip through the cracks. Do I think Tom Brady wants to play for the Jets?
No.
I think you're going to offer Tom Brady $100 million a year. He is never going to want to play on the Jets.
You'd have to offer him a lot of money and partial ownership of the team when he's done. That's the only way you get Tom Brady.
I don't think he wants that.
Yeah, I don't think you're getting Tom Brady. I don't think you can get Aaron Rodgers. Again, I just don't know who's the guy. Are we retreading Nick Foles? Are we I mean, there is something to be said though, Jeff, for guys like Geno Smith who look like they've kind of turned a corner. I'm not saying go get Geno Smith. He's probably not available, but I'm just saying is sometimes I think people just give up on guys too early. I mean, do you bring Mike White back and let Mike White be the backup and then go get a veteran guy? I mean, obviously Joe Flacco's not the answer. I just don't know where the Jets turned for quarterback this offseason.
Like I said, you got to see who's available. Got to wait and see what happens. There's a lot going to happen this offseason.
I would agree with that.
19 teams that may be looking for a quarterback. There's too many to start listing now.
I'll give you a name. How about a Mitch Trubisky?
No, of course not. Why would you want him?
I'm just
grabbing a guy or taking a guy that has 3 left arms.
Just throwing it out there, Jeff. I don't know, but listen, I get it. Yeah, the offseason is going to spell a lot. There'll be another big quarterback carousels. There's a team I think that's going to have a new quarterback next year that I think 6 weeks or 8 weeks ago people thought might be the MVP of the league, and that's Tua. I think Tua's between being injury-ridden and his lack of production, especially in the game against the Packers, he was horrendous. Couldn't throw the ball 20 yards. I think the Miami Dolphins are going to be looking for a quarterback this year. And rumors that Tom Brady's going across the bay and going to play for the Miami Dolphins next year with Sean Payton. But that I don't believe that part because I think they like the coach there. I don't think he's going anywhere.
No, I don't think so. I don't think he's going to play next year, Brady. I really don't.
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know.
I don't think he knows.
Yeah, you know what? That's a great point. You know what, Jeff? That's a great point. I don't think he knows right now. I think he finishes the season, goes on a long vacation, and then come March, when people come a calling, I think he'll make a decision on, think about it. What are the spots that really people are going to take him? Like, he's not going to go to one team that's rebuilding. So where can Tom Brady go next year to a team that is playoff ready and a chance to win?
He's going to want to go to a place that's playoff ready and a chance to win.
Absolutely.
Is any of those teams going to want to take him?
Frisco, why not? Frisco right now is do you believe Brock Purdy's the long-term answer there?
Listen, if these guys are playing well, some of these places have these guys playing that they come out of nowhere, and if they're playing well, why not? Not everybody has to be first round, first pick to succeed.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that he will, but I'm not saying that he won't either. And how do you know San Francisco, not for nothing, didn't get rid of fucking Garoppolo last time? What makes you think they're going to get rid of him this time?
No, listen, again, a lot of up in the air stuff. So I think that, listen, going into this game, let me ask you this question. So the Jets have to play this week. They're playing Miami, who's got a chance to win and make the playoffs. You don't care, as a Jet fan, you wouldn't want them to put the best product out there and go win this game. Doesn't mean that much to you?
No, if the whole team plays well, I'd rather watch the whole team play well than them win it this time. What's the point of them winning? This should be audition city this time right now at this point in time.
I agree.
Worry about trying to win the game. Matter of fact, I think there's a few guys that maybe they shut down.
Yeah. Again, to me, I'll bring the Giants up right after this because I'm curious what you think. To me, if a guy is got injuries and is dragging himself to the field, you got to sit him down and call it a day.
Like, what are you going to get out of having a Sauce Gardner or Garrett Wilson play the last game of the season? Do they get anything out of that?
But do you owe anything to the teams who are trying to make the playoffs behind the Dolphins to put a product out there and try to beat them and at least be competitive? Do you owe anything to anybody else?
No. First of all, it depends on what you do. Let's just take Garrett Wilson real quick. Okay. Let's say that they don't play Garrett Wilson, but yet they throw Denzel Mims and Elijah Moore out there all game.
Right.
And they're targeting them left and right. And they want to see what they can do. All right. So you're proving that you want to see what they're capable of. And, do they have a place on the team next year? They drafted a tight end last year. That was a homegrown kid.
Yes. Yeah. From
I don't think the kid ever played a snap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What is that all about?
Not a meaningful one, that's for sure.
Yeah. So is he play? Is he on the team? What? What is that other fucking guy they got? He has the whacked out name, Okanush or something like that. Oh man, I can't remember the name. He's like a Samoan name, I guess it was.
Okay.
Tight end? Yeah, it was tight end. Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Kid played for the Bengals last year. Got hurt right before the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Uzama?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't play much. What are you going to do with him? Do you keep him? Do you want to see what you have in him? What? I don't know. What do you do with him?
Well, very true. Very true. Now, speaking of that, Jeff, I got to bring over to the team that did make the playoffs from this area. And if you're Brian Dable, your Giants, you've already clinched. You can't do any better. You can't do any worse. If you're Dable, what do you do? Do you some people have rested their starters in the past. It hurt the Colts with Peyton Manning. Tom Coughlin, that is the big different situation. That team was going for a perfect season, but Tom Coughlin said, "Screw it, I'm going to go and play," and he played everybody for the whole game, and it was a great football game. If you're Brian Dable, you're the first year head coach. You're thrilled to be here. Do you go for the gusto and play it out and stay sharp going into the playoffs, or do you rest a bunch of guys this week and get ready for the playoffs?
It's a tough question because the people that you're talking about resting, mostly Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley, have injury history. So, they've been relatively healthy all summer. I mean, all summer, all winter, all season long.
Yep.
Take a chance and throw them out there for the last game. I don't know. I mean, maybe you played them for a half, a quarter, or whatever, and then you shut it down so that they don't get hurt. But I don't think that I would play those guys a full game. What is the difference for the Giants if they win or lose?
Nothing. This does not. They are the 7th seed, right? 7th seed. No matter what happens, win, lose, anybody else does anything, the Giants have clinched the 7th spot.
So they can't move.
Or 6th. Is 6th or 7th? Sorry, the Giants are the 6th seed. I'm sorry, 6th seed.
So they can't move.
No, no matter what happens, they win, they lose. Somebody else wins or loses. It doesn't matter. The Giants are the 7th seed playing the 3rd place team, which right now would be the Minnesota Vikings, which is great to hear.
Well, I would not play some of those guys.
Yeah, I tend to agree. My only thought process is, they're playing so well now, and they're coming together. I certainly wouldn't play Barkley. I mean, he's had some nagging injuries. I would give him the week off and get ready for the playoffs. Jones is the big question for me because I love the way he's playing. He is literally carrying his team on his back right now and playing great football. And I want to say that all the pundits out there who said that the Giants couldn't win with him, that the Giants were going to cut him, he was never going to be a Giant quarterback next year, are all writing now. Daniel Jones is going to get a 3 or 4 year contract. He's the Giant quarterback. Just want to say, I've been saying it for years. Get on the bandwagon. I'm okay with it. So, Daniel Jones has had a great season.
They didn't sign him yet.
It's a formality. The only reason I would say right now that they don't sign him is just in the off chance he plays in the playoffs and got hurt. That's the only reason they won't sign him right now.
They didn't sign him yet, so I wouldn't say that he's definitely on that team until he puts his name on the signature. Signature.
And you know what? The truth is, he could leave. He's a free agent. He could get up and say, you know what? There's a lot of teams that would be an upgrade. He would go there and he'd be an upgrade. So, but
yeah, and who knows? Maybe he wants to go someplace else.
I would doubt it, but yeah, listen.
Chances.
And listen, the way he's been treated here by the fans, by the media, to a certain extent, by his own team, by how screwed they've screwed him up. I wouldn't blame the guy for wanting to go someplace to start all over again with something else. But I think he's had a really good year. He's learned a ton under Brian Daboll. He's eliminated the turnover issues. He's stayed healthy. He's played great football. If he had any sort of receiving core, he would have had a 4,000-yard year, and this team would have been even better. He really has done a nice job and been a very smart football player this year. So good for him. He's going to get a nice contract, and I'm excited to watch. Jeff, if they play Saturday, you got to watch the game, man. There's going to be a big game coming up.
I would rather I would rather take my eyes out with a fucking thumbtack than to sit and watch a Giant game.
You'd rather slather your Johnson and honey and stick it in an anthill?
Yeah.
All right, what if I said, Jeff, if the Giants play the Vikings, we meet up at the bar of your choice in Staten Island and we watch the game together?
Well, it would have been nice to see you, but I got things to do.
What would be your worst nightmare? Your worst nightmare has got to be that the Giants, they made the playoffs, so that's already a nightmare. They go into Minnesota, they win, and Daniel Jones shines. Got to be your biggest nightmare.
Not at all.
Why not? It's got to be. You said all along he's a horrendous quarterback, that they shouldn't be quarterbacking the Giants, and the Giants were a terrible team.
You said nightmare, not fantasy, and everybody who has any kind of brain knows that the Giants are not going to do that.
Listen, they played Minnesota to a 61-yard field goal without their two best defensive backs, who are now both going to be back. One came back last week, one will be back this week. With an offense that wasn't exactly clicking yet, that's just started to click now, and a healthy, motivated team. I'm sorry, this for me, that's a game the Giants can win. I'm not saying they're going to. That is a tough game. You go to Minnesota, tough place to play, and it's a 12-3, 12-14, probably going to be 13-4 after they beat the Bears. I will tell you that I think the Giants could come out, could win that game. Not that they will, but they could.
No, they could, yeah, but if any team doesn't lose, they could win.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah.
So that's the same thing as what you're saying. I just don't think that they're going to be able to beat the Vikings. I don't.
Again, to me, we're playing with house money. I'm thrilled the Giants had this good a season. If they would have had this season and didn't make the playoffs, it's still a great season because most people had them picked for 4 or 5 wins. I'm happy. They got to this point and they won a playoff game. They weren't, other than the Eagle game, they weren't embarrassed all year on the field. I'm thrilled. They got the good coaching staff now. We got a great guy. So far, looks like we got a good general manager, and we look like we got our franchise quarterback. We're a team set up for positive things. If they were to win a playoff game, we will do a Giants special the week after. This will be the biggest show ever. All Giants wall to wall. Oh yeah, no doubt. 185%. All Giants.
I'm going to say right now, I think that the Vikings beat the Giants by at least 19 points.
Oh.
Matter of fact, my line.
You got the line out already?
I have a line for
What's
this.
the line already?
I got the Vikings by 7.5.
Already?
Yeah, to start.
That's the starting line.
Mm-hmm.
And you expect the money to come in on the Vikings, so the line will go up.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So the big money comes on the Vikings. And what do you think? By game time, it's what, 11.5, 12?
By game time?
Yeah. So a week from Sunday.
I don't think it's going to get that high, but, I mean, Cousins will be the question mark. But the man's a consummate pro. And he's going to end up taking that team to Titletown. While Brian Dable takes them over to McDonald's and gets a fucking Happy Meal.
Again, for me right now, I don't care what the Giants do this week. I'm going to watch the game. I love my Giants. I will watch Sunday. But playoff day, all I care about, and I'll tell you right now, I'd love a win. All I care is that the Giants go out there and leave it on the field. Go out there and take it down to the last drive. Win or lose, just be in the game in the fourth quarter, and it's a magical season for me. Now, could they do some damage? Sure. Do I think they're going to get past Minnesota? That's a tough game. It's a tough game, and I'll give you my predictions next week. After that, I think we get into dicey territory where you got a lot of teams that are way more talented than the Giants. So we're going to see. That's going to be a tough one. But
yeah, I just don't see them going far in the playoffs.
All right, well, we're going to find out. But guys, listen, Saturday morning there'll be – what'd you say?
I don't even see them getting out of the first round.
Okay. Again, I won't argue it right at this moment. I will make my case next week why the Giants win or lose that game. And I'll make my prediction. I want to see how they come out of this week's game. I want to see Adoree Jackson play. I got a couple things I want to see from them. I know that the Vikings have a couple guys down. I want to see what the rosters look like. But I got to tell you, if you're Minnesota, you're getting a little nervous about playing these New York Football Giants in 2 weeks.
Oh, God, here we go.
So here we go, folks. But
gotta be fucking kidding me with that.
Listen, guys, we got 2 games on Saturday, and I got to tell you, this, Jeff, the Jacksonville Titan game Saturday night is going to be a great game to watch. Jacksonville's starting to play some really good football. Winner gets the division. I think the other one gets to go home. This is going to be a lot of fun to watch. Very surprising that a Titan and Jaguar game being big at this point in the season. And I would tell you that if the Titans lose, there's a major overhaul. I think Vrabel's gone and Tannehill's no longer back. So this is going to be an interesting week for football. The Bills playing the Patriots. It's a huge game for both teams, especially the Patriots. They need a win, and I think they're in the playoffs. And you know what? Mike Tomlin and the Steelers can pop into the playoffs, Jeff. That guy's done a magic job.
Yeah, well, you'll never get that from certain people.
Which will, don't forget, folks, we'll be back Sunday for a return of the Sunday Audible. We've been out for a month. But with the holidays and everything else on the weekends, it's been a little rough. But I believe we're going to be back this Sunday. We'll get a little bit of a season-ending show, and then we'll be right there through the playoffs. So make sure you come back this Saturday. Hopefully the 3 of us will be together, but we'll play that out as it goes.
Sunday.
Huh?
Saturday or Sunday?
Well, it should be Saturday because you work Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I said. Saturday, the Sunday Audible on Saturday.
No, you were saying that with Sunday Audible back on Sunday.
If I did, I apologize. It will be Saturday, bright and early. So hopefully we'll get the three of us on together. But either way, the Sunday Audible, if I'm doing it by myself, I'll be there Saturday morning doing the show. So make sure you guys are all there. Hopefully Jeff and John will be available, and we'll have some fun. We'll break down the playoffs even further. But a couple of big games on Saturday. I think the Chiefs-Raiders is the first game, if I'm not mistaken. And then Titans-Jags, or maybe it's reversed. And then a full slate of games on Sunday. And, Jeff, I'm still curious to see how this all works out with the Chiefs, Bills, and Bengals.
Yeah. Let's see what happens, man.
Yeah, but a lot of things.
Hoping that the three of them just lose.
Well, I think what you'd have to hope for if you're the NFL is that the Bills lose to the Patriots and the Bengals lose, and then it doesn't really matter what the Chiefs do, because if they win or lose, they've got the better record. So you'd have to hope that the Bills and the Bengals lose this weekend, and then nothing else matters. So if one of those two teams win, and the Chiefs were to lose or even to win, it does create some doubt and what they'll do. But to me, sorry, I just say if you haven't played the game and they haven't and they're not going to, whatever happens this weekend is the final, and then just move on to the playoffs and let it go. So that's it. That's it for me, Jeff. I think we'll end it right here if you don't mind, unless you got something you want to add.
No, man, I'm pretty well talked out.
All right. Well, listen, it's been a great show. We had a lot of people chiming in tonight, which is a ton of fun. So thank you all for doing that. Thanks to my dad for popping up. Thanks to all the people behind the scenes who give us a big hand with the show, our wives and the like. And thanks to everybody for participating. It really does mean a lot to both of us when you guys get involved in the show. So I'll just say lots of good football this weekend. Get ready for Monday night is the college football championship game between TCU and Georgia. Not the biggest matchup in the world, but two good teams playing great football. So sit back and relax and get ready for that one. But there's a lot of good football Saturday and Sunday. So stick around for more. But for Jeff Torwinski, myself, and everybody here at Hard Rocket Sports, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being part of the show. Enjoy your week, the rest of your week, your weekend, and next week. Come on back when we do this all again next Thursday night. So have a great night, and I'll talk to you off the air.
You got it, dude. Be good, man.
All right, my man. Take care. All right, good night, everybody.